Hello my fellow crafters, welcome back to my channel. My name is David and today I'm going to be working in my art journal. I'm going to make the prompt for the month of April in the art journal specials group, and that prompt is Emboss Resist. And I'm gonna do something fun with that later on, but at first I want to make the background of my page. So yeah, thank you for joining me for that. I will be switching the cameras to my workstation and then we'll have a look at what we're going to be doing. What I've got here, let me just get this. So I've got my worksheet on my non-stick craft sheet because I'm going to be working with paints. And I'm going to do a fun technique, grunge to the max, but loving it. So this is going to be my base page. I'm going to put that into my journal. This is the little journal then where I'm putting it in, and I've got all my prompts of the months in there. So January, February, wood grain, March, and this is going to be where I'm going to stick this page in, like so. So it's got a little border around it, and I'm going to grunge this up drastically. So what am I going to use for that? I'm going to use the colors of all fresco finish paints, and these are all colors by Seth Apter. Smoked paprika, mud splat, mahogany, green patina, and gold. So gold needs to have a good shake. Next to that, I'm going to be using the grunge paste from Paper Artsy as well, and I'm going to use the infusions in golden sand. So that's the base. Then I'm going to do some heat embossing with clear embossing powder, etc. But we'll get to that in a second. So what I've got here is a piece of paper that I've cut to size. This is 19 by 9 centimeters, and that will fit into the journal nicely, and a scrap piece of that same paper. So we're going to start with the smoked paprika, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a small dot on my desk, pick that up with the brush, and I'm just going to put that on there, and I don't want it to be fully covered, so I'm just going to do that. It's quite a bright color. Now I want to leave white spaces, so don't cover it all, because that will not work. And I will also go this way a bit, just to interchange that. Don't go diagonal. Okay, so that is that. So let me clean that up. Then I've got another scrap piece of paper where I'm just going to clean off my brush. Then we're going to change things around a bit. I'm going to take this scrap piece of paper and I'm going to take the grunge paste. Let me open that up. Now the grunge paste is quite interesting stuff. It's quite fluidly, gummy almost, but it's almost, it's fun stuff. And we're going to use that. So just let me get a little bit of that and put that onto my scrap piece of paper. Now this technique that I'm doing was requested many times because I've posted some ADC cards I made with this at a demo at a store, and now people are asking me, how did you do that? How did you do that? So this is that one. And it's going to be, I think this is spectacular. I saw it on the Paper Artsy channel, this technique. Right, so that's that. Next I'm going to take mud splat, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a shake and put that on my mat there. Pick that up and put that over the grunge paste. And then with a light touch, I'm just going to dip that on there. And what you will do when you're touching, you will transfer some of that texture paste as well. So let me clean off my brush, and I'm just cleaning that on here. And I'll go in the other direction as well a bit. There we go. Clean off that brush. Then we're going to come in with the next color, and the next color is mahogany. So just brushing that over that grunge paste again. And fairly do the same. Now you can of course vary in colors, and this is going to be a very nice just clean off my brush on this again. I think that's fine. There we go. Now this is getting a really nice texture already. See that? Loving that. Okay, cleaning off my brush again. Then I'm going to come in with green patina. And as the name says it, that will give it a really nice patina look. I'm just covering up that grunge paste here again with that green patina. And do the same again. And start with a lighter touch. And when you notice there's less paint coming off, you can go in a bit heavier. And also have a look at when you think it's enough. Just stop. You don't have to use it all. Just dip it on there. Now you see there's hardly anything left. So I'm pressing a bit harder now, because that will also transfer a bit more of that beautiful grunge paste that is on there. There we go. Now this you can use as well. Never throw away anything, right? But we're not done yet. The last color we're going to use is gold. So let me get that on my desk. But look at the grunginess of this one already. And this is almost dry already. That's also the benefit of both the paints. They're chalk paints, so they dry really quick. But also the grunge paste doesn't take that long to dry. So light touch. Just with a light touch. And we're done. I think this is enough. Okay, so just let me clean this up. Okay. Next, what I'm doing is I'm taking my infusions in golden sands and I'm going to cover this up. Now you see a lot of white areas still, and that will change in a second. So we'll just put some more where I need some more. And just let that flow. everywhere. And then I'm going to put this to the side and let that dry. This is now nearly dry and look at that grunge. Loving it. So putting that to the side, let that dry further. And while that's drying, I'm going to continue with the next step. And I'm just debating with myself whether to use pen and paper or not. Let me think about that. I'm going to use a piece of this as my base, but we're going to do a lot of things to it. Just let me cut that to size. Well, size, I just need a panel, fairly. But let me just quickly do that, because we don't need much. I need something to die cut from. There we go. So what I'm going to be doing on this is first do with some clear embossing powder, because now I've decided on this paper, and my stencils I need. So I need my stencils. I'm going to use the ones from my last release. I'm going to try this one and see what it does. So I'm going to put that on there. And I'm going to take my Wow embossing ink and I'm just going to press that through. You can also use a dauber or a brush, but I'm just going to do it like this. I think it will work. And if it's not perfect, that is more than fine, because I like that grungy look. You know that by now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put on my clear embossing powder, because then I can see what bits I have missed. I'm going to melt that, and then we're going to see if I need to add some more, but I think we'll be fine from the looks of this. Perfect. Now this paper comes from my paper pack, Abandoned Papers, which is a lovely paper pack. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover this with my infusions if this is cooled down, because that's important. I'm going to go over that clear embossing powder. So the same color as we used on that background. And spritz that. And what will happen is the embossing powder that we put on there will resist the color that we put on there. It's a really fun technique also for cards. I've used that quite a lot actually on cards, and there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And I'm going to dry that. Now, when you're drying this, make sure you keep your heat tool moving. We want the paper to dry, but don't want the embossing powder to remelt. So don't hold it in one place too long, because then the embossing powder will melt again. But I do want this to puddle next to my embossing powder, so we got to be patient. Now I'm just going to take a piece of paper and dab off a bit of that excess, because we don't need that much on there. And try it. And then I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm just going to dab off what we don't want on the embossing powder. Now what I really like is that it's seeped underneath that embossing powder as well. So that's because you use clear and very porous paper, because this is not watercolor paper. It's not intended to be used with these kind of techniques, but you can also use that to your advantage. So I'm just drying that. And again, let that cool down completely. But these will match together nicely, you see? Oh, this one, you hear it. Look at that detail in there. Oh, gotta love this. I love this. Okay, let me think. Let me find my... Now from the A to C special kit, I'm going to use the hexagons. I'm going to use the two biggest sizes. And I'm just going to cut out as much from this as possible, but it needs to be really dry before I do that. So let me just finish drying that and then I'll be back. So this is fully dry now and I'm going to cut out some hexagons from that. So I'm just going to see what areas I want. Definitely want this big plus there. And I'm going to just pick and choose the bits that I like. And then run that through. And there we've got fun little hexagons with an emboss resist. So I've used up nearly all of my paper. And what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to edge all around these bits and bobs because I want them to stand out a bit more. So just taking my scorched timber and I'm going to go around these hexagons. Letting that ink come in a bit. And that will make these pop off the page a bit more and add to the grunge, I think. And the funny thing is, where the embossing powder is, that will resist this color again. But I love that I use design paper because it shines through. Otherwise it would have been plain white shining through, which is great as well if you want that. But in my case I didn't want that, so that's why I chose to use the design paper. So just let me edge this one as well. Then I'm going to fold this in half because that will give me a good idea where the fold will be in the booklet. And then I will place the hexagons on there where I want them. I might even just lightly there. Now I've got that visual. What I also need, before I forget, I need my thingy with a prompt. Now I've cut these out for the whole year and I think I'm going to use this one. I don't want to cover up too much of the back, but the theme is, or the prompt is, emboss resist, so it's got to be on there, right? So I'm just picking, oh, I like this one. I think I'm going to do it like this. Let's do that. Let's just, don't overthink, David, just do. Because otherwise we'll be here tomorrow. If I start thinking about it, yeah, it's the end of the game. So I want them like that. And let's go to this one. I'm using my acrylic block to apply some pressure on the die cut because everything is a bit warped from the heat and the water and everything I throw at it. So this helps for the glue to adhere and really stick down well. Yes, I'm going to put that one there. Then I need to write on my little label, and that's going to say April, Emboss, Resist. That's that. Just going to etch that a bit so, to make it more cohesive with the rest. I think, let me just hover over it. Yeah, down here. That's on there. Now I want one more, and I think I'm going to use this one to place on here. And then I just want to brighten it up ever so slightly, so I'm going to use some white splatter for that. So let me get a good brush out. And just splatter a bit. And And this is a bleed-proof white, so that will not bleed through. So it will not pick up the color of the infusion, which is really nice because, yeah, I want it to stay this color. How gorgeous is that? Really grungy, yes, but I love grunge, so, but this is Emboss Resist. Look at that background. I'm just going to show you how gorgeous and how stunning is that background. Yeah, loving that. So I'll be using this technique a lot in my art journal because I'm just loving it and I love to play with paints, etc. So, yeah. Right, onto this. I'm going to glue this into my art journal. But there it is. And then on this page, I already know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 panels like this, because that will really help us to, yeah, finish this signature up, because it's getting quite bulky. But look at that. I'm loving this. So, here is the finished result in my art journal. The prompt for April, Emboss Resist. But yeah, with a twist. Loving this. I hope you like it too. If you do, give this video a thumbs up and consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Thank you for that. And I love to see you in the next one. See you then. Bye.